This has been a lot. I talked about this the other day, and it's apparently getting pretty serious. The Roblox situation has now attracted the attention of Chris Hansen, always a really, really good person to have associated with your company. And things are looking pretty bad for him.
Roblox isn't a place where we filter all the text and the voice, where we monitor...
Oh, by the way, Roblox has been banned in China and Qatar in the last week. China banned Roblox. This is a very big deal.
Critical harms, where there's no image sharing or any of the things that might happen from that.
I want to start off by saying that we all want to keep Roblox safe. We share this view, and we know that there's members of our community who feel strongly about that too. And you know what? We welcome them as part of the dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer.
I want to highlight, we have always had safety as one of our top
This is a good video.
And we're not waiting for the law or legislation. We've innovated with age estimation.
They're not waiting for the law?
On our own because we want to keep people...
Well, that part's true. They just don't do anything.
This whole situation is kind of crazy.
Everybody go donate to this boy Schlep.
This is probably the worst decision this company has ever made.
Hashtag free Schlep on God. Yeah, they actually need Schlep.
It's actually crazy how big of a fuck up this was. Like, this is probably the biggest backfire of, like, suppressing a content creator for doing something that's inconvenient for a brand that I've probably ever seen. It's massive.
Schlep the best.
Roblox, you need to do something.
There's got to be something.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody at Roblox listens to us. I'm frustrated, man. I'm frustrated.
Why should we support a platform that is taking steps to prevent predators from getting caught?
Kind of a good question.
Roblox has just lost $12 billion.
What the fuck? God damn. And that's only for now. Oh my God.
In market value following their response to their cease and desist letter against me. Just for context, I'm someone who's gotten 6 predators within their community.
Well, and to be fair, it's not about Schlep. It's about what Schlep represents. Like, if they sent Schlep a cease and desist for making, like, racist Roblox videos, they wouldn't have lost $12 billion. The reason why they did it is because they're effectively trying to prevent accountability from themselves, number one, and also from the predators that are on their platform. It's a lot.
Arrested in real life. That loss, though, isn't on me. It's a direct result of Roblox's own response to its child safety crisis.
They did it to
Instead
themselves.
of addressing the real issues, Roblox has doubled, tripled, even quadrupled down. They've put out statements after statements painting me and my team as reckless vigilantes while claiming that their platform is safe, when it absolutely is not. People are just seeing through this, and that's why a huge movement has started online called Free Schlep. It's been trending everywhere. Multiple members of Congress have now called out the company's child abuse problem, and the Attorney General of Louisiana has filed a giant lawsuit against the company for, and I quote, prioritizing user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety. The day after the...
I think that the big problem that we have, and I know that I sound like a broken record with this, is that there is no direct personal accountability when decisions like this are made. They need to subpoena all of the personal communications and the meeting notes and the Slack discussions and figure out if people are actually making decisions that put kids in danger in order to make more money. And if people are doing that, they need to be charged with crimes on a personal level. And that's the big reason why these bad behaviors continue, whether it's hiring illegal aliens, Congress people taking bribes, or whether it's a company doing something that increases its profit at the expense of its customers. The same thing is, it's all the same. And the outcome is that they're doing this in order to just simply make more money, and they know they're going to get away with it. That's what the problem is.
Attorney General's lawsuit was filed, Roblox's market
and
value
they do get away with
by
it.
$12 billion. In response, the company scrambled to roll out new policies targeting the very not safe for work games featured in the lawsuit and my video. Like, for instance, bathroom simulators. Mind you, the community has been calling out these games for years now. But still, even after everything,
it's deranged. Like, these games are definitely not meant, like, these games should not be meant for kids. I mean, bathroom simulator, anything that has like a Like any of this like weird innuendo, it should have been categorically removed from being accessible to anybody who's under 18.
Removing these blatantly inappropriate experiences, Roblox simply slapped a 17+ label on them. They also...
You know, I heard from somebody very recently that 17 is actually not a good age. Yeah, I heard about a situation very recently that 17 is, in fact, not a good one. Yeah. Ooh.
To launch a ban wave against some of the worst games they've knowingly hosted for years. Games that have led thousands of children to getting extorted, and worse. Roblox's actions are nothing more than damage control for the problems they've allowed to fester, when the entire community was screaming at them to fix these problems. And the community saw that killing the messenger was an act of war.
It was.
Shortly after these changes, Roblox released a video so bad that it was community noted on Twitter twice. David Baszucki, the CEO of Roblox, Matt Kaufman, the chief safety officer of Roblox.
Yeah, you really fucked up, huh, Matt?
Liza Jacobs, the senior director of product policy, did a 45-minute tech talk.
So can they explain why the product policy is to let children use video games that are full of sexual innuendos? Like, what's the logic of letting kids use a public bathroom simulator? Like, would you want your kid playing public bathroom simulator? This is what I would ask any of these executives. And I think the answer to that is obviously no. I think everybody knows that.
Is just corporate jumbo, but they go ahead and respond directly to their vigilante policy. Before I show this, I want you to remember, I'm the only person that Roblox has targeted with this vigilante policy that they just created. Not even my team was moderated or given any legal letter. I begged for a clear line and even offered to keep much of my work private to help, and I'm no way obligated to do that, but instead, they went straight after me, moderating my accounts and sending a cease and desist before I could even react to the policy.
Well, they're trying to intimidate him with legal action. That's what they're doing. It's obvious that's what they're doing.
Clear about one thing. I'm not a vigilante. That means I'm taking the law into my own hands. Yeah. We work with law enforcement, which is why we have arrests. Roblox refuses to say my name because they'd have to...
Vigilantes would perform the arrest themselves. These people simply gather evidence and then submit it to the police, and then the police make a decision whether they want to take action on it or not. That's not being a vigilante.
Acknowledge those arrests, but make no mistake, they're responding to the outrage, which is about me, and this is what they had to say about it. They first start off the interview by talking about how vigilantes started out as a good thing.
Both inside of Roblox, and I think that there are lots of people outside of Roblox who really have the best intentions and the welfare of our community at heart. We all want to keep Roblox safe. And you know, we welcome them in part of the dialogue about how to keep Roblox safer. And we have members of the community in these vigilante groups that started off in a really good place. They started off by saying like, hey, they're reporting on issues on Roblox. They're talking about how we could do better. And, you know, we paid really careful attention.
This statement is just laughably hilarious. If Roblox...
Why'd you stop?
Really paying attention, then what about when my mom emailed you guys about my own gaming case? What did you do then? Nothing. Actually, you kept paying the guy for years afterwards until you were literally forced to do something about it. If what Roblox...
So he even has a personal experience that shows that this did not even ever happen. Of course. Why am I not surprised?
Was claiming was actually
what
true,
a shock.
them listening to the community. Why are the biggest content creators leaving your exclusive YouTuber program in protest of how you're moderating your platform? And I'm gonna actually bring up something later in this interview to show you how much of a joke this is. This here is Meep City, one of the most controversial games on Roblox. Creecraft, one of the largest Roblox YouTubers, joined this game.
I went to this
4 seconds, was exposed to not safe for work content. The community has been complaining about this game for almost a decade now, but Roblox has still continued to leave this game up and platform it. But CEO David Baszucki mentions this game by name, and here's their philosophy.
Is this the butthead thing?
I can see some of our community naming experiences on Roblox and just say, take it down, take it down, take it down. I'd say examples could be Meep City, for example, T-Share, Like, why should that be up? Should that be down? Like, what's up?
I think one thing that's really challenging on this global immersive interactive platform is that we have content created by developers and creators and content created by the community, by the users that are in that game. And one thing that we really try to do is be fair to our developers and to not moderate them for the behavior of their users.
How is this a crazy math problem?
Just say you don't want to do anything. You just want to collect the checks. Just be honest. Just come on. What are we doing here? It's so obvious.
This is so simple. The creator of this game wants these people in their game. How is this even controversial? The developer is giving the tools to the player to make this inappropriate content. And that is the problem with Roblox. Roblox turns a blind eye unless the developers are blatantly making not safe for work games. And even then, it is still on the line if Roblox will take action.
Yeah, of course.
Roblox might have just went back on their word regarding Meep City. This game had every inappropriate feature removed from it pretty much overnight. It's unknown if Roblox made
So wait a minute. So you're telling me that all of these problems, they could have solved them overnight, but they just didn't? Because, like, that's what it shows to me. Is that, like, okay, so now there's a really big controversy around this problem, and somehow you're able to totally fucking get rid of it within, like, what, 48, 72 hours, 3 or 4 days, maybe? How does this happen? What a mystery.
Neutron, the creator of Meep City, do this. But either way, it shows the public pressure is working. Games that Roblox is doubling down on are folding. So that's why it's really important to keep speaking up about this.
Then we saw something.
What I think they need to do if they want to take, like, children's safety seriously is that they need to have a opt-in program where if you have, like, an account that isn't age verified, there are only different games that you can play that have already been pre-approved by Roblox. So they need to shift the way, because, like, right now what I'm assuming is that they have a system that effectively it doesn't ask questions until questions are asked about the game. But if you really want to make this work, you have to make it proactive. And so you have to make it to where if you're using an account, you can't access any of the games except for the games that are pre-approved by Roblox staff. Now, this will never actually happen, but that's who pre-approves? Well, the staff of the company has to pre-approve it. Yeah, like YouTube. Yeah, do the YouTube Kids. And yeah, approved by Roblox is an extremely low bar. Well, like, that does two things, right? So number one, it prevents, like, small games from coming out that are, like, they have, like, flash in the pan success. They get taken over by weirdos and then, you know, or they're co-opted and then it's just like a weird, like, kind of, scandal, right? But the other thing that it does is it prevents it prevents this from just happening on its own. And you stop the flow of it happening, because that's what I think they need to do. They need to stop the flow of this happening, period. Why don't they separate adults and kids to different servers? Well, I don't know why. If there's over 100 million users, they need to hire a lot of people to audit every Roblox world created. Well, I understand that, but here's the problem. If you can't ensure a safe environment and a safe space for people to use as, like, you know, as kids, then maybe you shouldn't be doing an online world. If you can't moderate your online service at all to prevent people from getting groomed, then maybe you need to figure out your business model in a more effective way.
Change. What we saw is that some of these groups started engaging with the community in ways that violated our policies.
It's common sense.
Let me explain, like, what that means. They would go and create accounts on Roblox claiming to be a child.
Roblox keeps repeating this same talking point, that I'm impersonating and pretending to be a child. But here's the reality. You have to pretend to be a child, because if the predators knew they were talking to an adult, that wouldn't...
Yeah, duh.
Even be a crime. You guys seem to be more upset that I'm pretending to be a child than predators our decoys. And if it wasn't our decoys, it would be a real person. It's also worth noting that the FBI, ICAC, and local law enforcement all use these same exact tactics. Would Roblox be willing to send them a cease and desist too? And their claim that I'm impersonating children is flat out false. Impersonation means I'm stealing the identity of a real child. From the very beginning, we've never used real kids. We don't send pictures of real children, and we create totally new identities.
Yeah, what a weird accusation to make, especially whenever I think of the implications of that. That's crazy to say that somebody's doing that. Oh my God.
Where every single photo that's sent is of someone that is of age. The only difference is we tell these people that we are underage. This is flat out a lie, what they're claiming. But what happens next is so wild that the CEO of Roblox cuts off the chief safety officer.
And then they would enter into game servers and they would go and start asking everybody around them, how old are you? And they were seeking out adults. If you said that you were, move on. But if you said that you were 25, then they would start engaging in conversations and they would try and use those conversations to simulate.
Matt, is this anecdotal? Because I know we have chat logs for all chat on Roblox and historical records. So are you able to kind of...
David totally derails that conversation. That statement is probably the most wild made by Matt Kaufman in this whole interview. To simulate what, Matt Kaufman? Because it's not simulation. These are predators thinking that they're talking to someone
what are they simulating if they're looking for people that are over 18? I mean, like, really, what do you think here?
And a lot of times we want to show up in person and do stuff to them in real life. And in my opinion, this shows how little Roblox actually cares about this problem. They can say whatever they want. They can talk about all the new safety features that they're rolling out. But it means nothing if lawsuits are being filed every single week against the company and headlines are making the media about a new horrible situation happening because of this platform. I also want to say how they totally mischaracterize how I run my decoy operation.
Well, they're just trying to make him look bad. That's all. They're trying to make him look bad and make him look like a bad actor. Because, again, none of this is about protecting kids at all. It's about protecting the brand. And that's obvious to anybody that doesn't know this.
They always contact our decoy account first.
So we saw these actors, they're pretending to be kids, they're trying to find adults, and then what they're doing is they're trying to move the conversation as quickly as possible to other platforms.
Big surprise.
Other platforms that don't have the type of monitoring and policies that Roblox has. And then they were using that activity that happened on other platforms to create situations that they would then video, they would report to the police, and then only after would they let Roblox know.
Roblox is
the real crime is not telling Roblox of crimes. It's not the crimes happening, it's not telling them that they're happening. But whenever Schlepp's mom told you that the crime was happening with her son, well, you didn't do anything. Isn't that convenient?
Accusing me of encouraging adults to talk inappropriately to people they shouldn't. That is not true, and if it was true, I wouldn't have a single arrest. We present ourselves as a naive kid who doesn't...
No, the thing is that you're gonna have weirdos like this on every platform. It's not, like, unheard of. It's pretty common, actually. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that are weirdos on the internet, and it happens on every platform, including Twitch and Twitter and Discord, everywhere. The problem isn't that it happens. The problem is that they're trying to hide it from happening. Or they're trying to hide the fact that it does happen, and they're actively using legal force to try to suppress people from talking about it. That's really where the problem comes in. That's the big issue.
Know about these topics. Crimes like this should obviously be reported to law enforcement first, not Roblox.
Yeah,
if Roblox is notified before the police, they can delete accounts, tip off the predators that are being investigated, and give them a chance to erase valuable evidence that the police need to prosecute. The fact that...
to be fair, that part of that isn't true, because the odds are Roblox actually keeps the information on hand after it gets deleted by these people. But one thing that is true is that if the account gets deleted, it might make it harder for a police officer to fully investigate what a person's behavior is in real time. So, like, this is, like, partially true, partially not, from my understanding, at least.
these predators are on the platform to begin with shows that their safety systems have failed. If Roblox did their jobs, there wouldn't be anybody for us to find. Roblox also claims that I'm moving these players to other platforms, but those platforms are linked directly on Roblox's own site. Roblox is actually even partnered with some of those platforms. They even own a bot on that other platform.
How convenient.
Anyone can make an account 13+ and see
you can't
social
say
media
Discord,
links
but they
on
use
Roblox.
Discord.
And unsurprisingly, people in real life have been abducted because of this feature that Roblox allows. And when they say I'm creating these situations, that's just insulting. I'm not creating situations. These predators are trying to grab people within your community.
And
it's his fault that the predators are there. Well, if you didn't put the 12-year-olds there, they wouldn't go after him. What a bunch of bullshit. Oh my God.
A bunch of issues in here. Number one, the violation of our policies about being honest about how old you are. Number two, moving conversations off platform. And number three, waiting to tell Roblox when they identified violative behavior to come and tell us so we could take action.
In Matt Kaufman's own words, in articles about vigilantes, he said law enforcement officials are best positioned to investigate potential crime. So why is he
then why would he want you to,
criticizing us for going to the police first? And it's not
exactly, So like if the law enforcement are the ones that are best positioned to do it, then why should he be telling Roblox and not the law enforcement? Little bit of logic there, huh? Little confusing, isn't it? How does that make any sense?
Not even reporting these things to Roblox. We do. We give Roblox the same Google Drive that we give to the cops. They have the first chat log till the very end where they're in handcuffs. And we have numerous fully documented instances where Roblox refused to take action until after we released videos that got millions of views. Also, waiting to tell Roblox in general is a policy violation? If you were on Roblox and went straight to the authorities instead of reporting it to Roblox first, could you technically be violating Roblox's terms of service?
I think
sure sounds like it.
These groups started off in a really good place, and they started off, really, and they still do really care about the community. The actions that they were taking were putting our community at greater risk and were violations of our policy.
He says I'm putting the community at risk. Roblox even went as far to accuse me and my team of being similar to predators. Think about that.
What a disgusting thing to tell somebody that was previously groomed on your platform that they're similar to the people that are the actual predators. It's so nasty. Who does this?
They're implying I am preying on predators. So to Matt Kaufman and
gross.
David Baszucki, I'm very sorry for preying on the predators of your platform and getting them arrested and put in handcuffs because I didn't ever want to see kids go through what I went through.
These actors that were coming on the platform, they were reaching out to dozens and dozens of people, and the vast majority of those people were not responding to those engagements, and frankly, were harmed in that process.
I'm gonna show you this predator I caught. I sent a message in the chat, and I got this guy messaging me.
Yes, okay, how old are you? I asked him back how old he is, and he says he's older than 18.
18 up.
I tell him I'm years old. Do you mind me being younger? No, not really. If you can keep it a secret between us, though. And
bro, how do you not check this?
He does Predator Strat 101. He asked for my Snap or Discord, and the reason why he's asking for Snap is because
the S and the N, like obviously like Snap is probably word filtered. So DC, Discord, or Snapchat. Yeah, exactly.
Delete. I tell him Discord, and I get on Discord with him, and the messages begin right away.
Throughout that entire process, where did I harm anyone? Because the real harm was Roblox letting this game exist on their platform.
Oh no, you harmed the shareholders. You don't understand. See, like you harmed the people that own the company because you're making them look bad because you made the game look like it's got weirdos on it. Yeah, you're hurting them by doing that. So that's the reason.
For years.
Of course.
It only disappeared after Hindenburg, an investment research firm, went ahead and exposed Roblox for hosting this experience. And conveniently, it vanished the moment they showcased this predator catch. Notice as well how I wasn't the one to ask for Discord or Snapchat. The predator did. These were the sort of people interacting with our decoys, and so many people are
a lot of these people initiate it themselves. And even if Schlep had initiated it, there would have been nothing wrong with that because you can't get, like, entrapment is something that police officers do, Like, Schlepp isn't a police officer, so he's not bound by the same limitations that entrapment is supposed to protect you against.
Being victimized from people exactly like this.
They were normalizing policy violations on the platform.
What Roblox's own algorithm recommends inappropriate items to people.
Yep.
Roblox actively
popped white gum.
Not safe for work games for children. Roblox themselves, in this interview, doubled down on one of the most infamous instances of inappropriate behavior that they've allowed for nearly a decade. And they're really going at me for normalizing policy violations. Absolutely unbelievable.
And the other piece is oftentimes the sort of evidence that was collected, the video evidence, was really difficult to verify, really difficult for us. And if law enforcement had to verify it, then they're talking about subpoenas. And so I think something that sometimes seems obvious to folks in the community really is just much more complicated on the back end.
I'm not sure how the...
Yeah, because you make it complicated. You make it complicated so it's harder for people to figure it out. Because if more people figured it out, it would make you look bad. Yeah, duh.
Evidence that I was sending you guys was hard to verify. I sent you guys screen recordings of us scrolling through the entire chat on mobile. And a lot of the stuff that happens is happening directly within Roblox. Like, for instance, when Roblox refused to ban this predator, we got arrested.
Well, they can figure this out. The police can figure this out in a day. They just send an information request to Discord, and then Discord sends them all the information. It's not complicated. It's not like this is rocket science. It's so obvious how to handle it. Like, obviously, so they use the screenshots and everything and the videos taken as evidence, and then they find the evidence on Discord and they use it as proof. Because, of course, they're going to verify it with the actual party because they can do that. It's common sense. That shit takes a long, long time. I mean, if it does, there's a reason for it, and it's probably because the companies are just making it take a long time to avoid having more things like this happen.
In Hawaii, and he was literally talking in-game about planning the meetup in real life on Roblox. With all that being said, I wanted to ask someone who's been working with law enforcement and has been doing predator catching since before I was even born.
Here we go.
So I decided to take a seat with Chris Hansen to catch some answers.
Man.
I'm Chris Hansen. I'm co-founder and correspondent reporter for the True Blue Streaming Crime Network. We do a lot of crime and investigative reporting. Our Takedown series, which exposes predators trying to exploit children online. And we also work on a number of documentaries, including this particular project, exposing the sort of thing that goes on Roblox.
I wanted to ask you about some of the comments that Roblox has specifically stated about like predator catching. One of the main complaints is pretending to be a child. I want to know your answer. It's kind of obvious, but the importance of using decoy accounts to just find different predators.
Well, it's so obvious. In order to figure out whether somebody is looking for a 14-year-old or not, you have to say that you're 14. Duh. How do you find out if somebody wants a hamburger? Well, you ask them if they want a hamburger. Like, it's so, like, obvious. I don't know how this is happening.
Couldn't do it without using decoy accounts. In the very beginning, we had an online watchdog group, Prefer to Justice, do that work. And now, and for the last several years, it's been members of law enforcement who have posed as children online, merely sitting in one of these areas, and they wait to be approached by somebody who is seeking to exploit children. And then the conversation takes place.
And they wait to be approached. That's another very good point, right? Is that's why it's not entrapment. Is that these people approach them. It's not like they're trying to go in and honeypot some weirdo into, like, getting them arrested. Like, these are people that are actively going out and asserting this themselves. It's not like they're trying to, like, bait this guy into doing it. No, they're the ones that are initiating this and pushing for it themselves.
It all happens according to the law, and then that gets turned over. Now, I understand that anytime somebody is not with law enforcement, it gives pause to a corporation. It's like, okay, here's this kid. We don't know whether he's following the rules properly. We don't know if he's running this by a lawyer. Maybe you could argue that they just don't want that sort of activity on their platform.
Yeah, they're
but
afraid.
You think they'd be more worried about the activity that you're exposing?
That's what I've been trying to get at this whole time.
Let's worry about that, number one, and then you can
I wonder what the problem is here.
I mean, if I were the CEO of Roblox, I would make you an ambassador for security. I would get out in front of this thing and do what would be a fantastic promotional move. I'm a little dumbfounded that they haven't figured it out, given that these guys are in the
Well, they're so afraid of having Roblox become synonymous with grooming online. That's the reason why, is that they're so afraid of protecting their brand, they're destroying it. That's what's happening.
Who invented this stuff in some ways. Why don't they get ahead of it and get a young guy on their team?
That's
what I'm doing with you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not that hard to figure out.
Of course.
I learned a long time ago that if you're not listening to the youngest guy or girl in the room, you're missing opportunity. You have to evolve and you have to keep on top of this technology.
That's smart.
You have to bring new ideas into the room to do your job. My job is to expose bad people. You are helping.
I mean, the thing is, I've made it very, very clear to Roblox since the beginning. Give us a private line. We are open to communicate with you. We want to talk with you guys. We know a lot of these really bad actors, and the first official contact I had with them was the cease and desist letter.
What a surprise.
From a public image standpoint, I mean, you're killing the messenger, right? It's not like you're out there tracking these guys down with, tasers and smoke guns. I mean, you're providing information to the platform to do something about it.
One of the major complaints that Roblox had about me was that I was actually going to law enforcement first before sending their report, just so that they would have a start to finish conversation of everything that took place. Did you guys ever reach out to social media sites before this sting goes down?
No, we always go to law enforcement. We work with law enforcement in everything we do. And that is to ensure...
Yeah, duh, of course. If you don't work with the law enforcement, nobody gets arrested and nothing happens. That's the problem. Duh.
Prosecution. That's why the prosecution rate in these states is, like 99.1%. It's law enforcement.
Yeah, they go after these people and they're not going to do it until, this is some guy that's dog whistling. It's people that have been banned. You really think that you can do that, bro? You really think that it's not going to be... It's so... We know what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. What are you doing? You're trying to be smart.
First, then they
oh my God.
Corporations should be more concerned about reporting what it finds to law enforcement to investigate.
I'm going to read to you a quote from Roblox's corporate blog describing our operations. Similar to actual predators, they often impersonate actively approach users and then try to lead them onto different platforms to have explicit conversations. We obviously do not talk to these predators. We don't impersonate real children. Our decoys are, adults.
Well, I think if they're mischaracterizing what you're doing, that's wrong. Based upon what you said to me, you don't actively bait these guys in terms of making the first approach. You merely set up a profile as somebody who's underage, and you exist in that room until an adult approaches one of your decoys. Then if conversation takes place, they get exposed, and that information gets turned over to law enforcement. And in many cases, they do something, and then you report that both on your platform as a citizen journalist, a young guy working on these stories, and to Roblox to take action as a corporate citizen.
I thought it was kind of wild how they compared what we're doing to actual predators.
Well, if they're mischaracterizing what you're doing, that's horrible. This entire project is going to be healthy for Roblox, and it's going to be especially good for users of Roblox because anything that creates awareness and a dialogue is important. And you need to tell parents that this stuff
this is an existential problem that exists on basically every social media platform, and social media platforms actively try to lobby to avoid having restrictions and awareness on this placed because they don't want people to realize that it's happening and how often it happens. This is a very common occurrence. Now, obviously, the good thing is that most kids know not to, follow the white rabbit and go down that rabbit hole and, meet up with some random weird guy. But, 1 out of 100 of them do. And the problem is that whenever you have a guy that's doing it every day, talking to 10 kids a day, you're going to have one of those happen. Or the white van. Yeah, the white van. There you go. And so it's a predator trap? Yeah, exactly. And so that's the issue, is that a lot of these companies are afraid of having any investigation into this because they're worried about what it will imply for their brand.
Is that these dangers are out there, and that if your child is approached by a predator, they need to come to the parents. I mean, that's the first line of defense. It's great what you're doing. It's great what I do. It's really great that law enforcement and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children does all this work every day across the country. It's great that Roblox has a department that takes a look at some of this stuff. What's not great is the lack of connection here that could make it even better and safer. Until that happens, we have to show parents what goes on here, and they have to have the discussion with kids and say, hey, be careful.
What made you like interested into like getting into Roblox?
Because it's where weirdos are.
I was personally getting communications on social media saying, you need to look into this, you need to look into this, you need to look into this. And then we saw a big case down in Florida where a guy was arrested in Central Florida for and actually giving them Robux and having them exploit siblings and other. It made headlines down in Marion County, Florida. And so I started digging into it. We had good contacts with that sheriff's department there. And we actually, ironically, just did a predator sting.
It's a critical point at Roblox. Well, the issue with Roblox is that it's so big. So because Roblox is such a big platform, it's kind of like the YouTube Kids issue with ElsaGate. The reason why that blew up so much is because YouTube was so big and so many kids use the platform. Like, there's definitely a degree where, like, I bet smaller platforms probably have a maybe even larger ratio of this bad stuff happening than Roblox does. But because Roblox is so big, even if the ratio is small, if it's 1% of people, that's still, if they have 100 million users a day, that's a million people. That's a lot of fucking problems.
Down there. So we started with an interview there, and it turns out that in the same jurisdiction, there was a 10-year-old girl who was exploited on Roblox by a man all the way over in England. And so we interviewed that victim's mother, and all of a sudden all these cases started developing, including the lawsuit by the Attorney General in Louisiana.
It's interesting you mentioned Florida, because we got an arrest there. We got it in Polk County, and it was a guy who possessed...
High fives them.
Polk County, as you know, is where Sheriff Grady Judd is, and they're very active in the state.
Yeah, he really doesn't fuck around. This guy does not fuck around at all.
Oh, yeah.
We work with them as well. First of all, it breaks my heart, and I'm so sorry that you had to deal with this as a younger guy on this particular platform. The fact that you were bullied and preyed upon and advantage of, and that it went to the extent it did. It breaks my heart, and this is why we do these investigations. But to see you at your age turn it into a positive and do something about it, I think is incredible and admirable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
From a guy who's been kicking around doing this for 42 or 43 years now, it's really cool, because when I started on television, I was your age. I was 22 years old. So when I
that's crazy to think. Yeah. Wow.
A young person do this kind of work, it's very impressive to me, because I know what it takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's very crazy when you start looking into this stuff. I mean, it's a rabbit hole. It only gets more disturbing the more you see it.
Well, and since we announced that we're doing this documentary and that you are collaborating, I am overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah. I saw a tweet on Twitter. It got like 160,000 likes that you're just even looking.
Well, this is, again, this is the Grim Reaper of PR. Whenever somebody finds out that Chris Hansen is looking into their app, what's worse than that? That's awful.
Into the platform.
Really? Think about it.
People have known about these issues for so long, but journalists haven't done enough to really look into it. And now it's starting to break into the world where everybody is starting to start to be aware.
Well, now you're seeing more mainstream, outlets cover it. And look, we have the ability to infiltrate this world because we've been doing it for 21 years. First with To Catch a Predator, and for the last 2.5 years at True Blue, our streaming crime network, with Takedown. So we know how to do this and work with law enforcement. Now, a lot of people can go out and do this stuff independently, but here you are, a good example of somebody who has done the work and given it to law enforcement. And that's the key here, because if you expose these guys and make fun of them and do a Borat thing like some other content creators, they often don't face the consequences.
I'm glad that he brought that up. Yeah, I'm glad he knows about this too, is that you have a lot of weirdos that go and do this, and they're really just looking for somebody that's okay to beat up on, right? Where it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to find a child predator and then beat them up and bully them. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I'm not really going to clutch a whole lot of pearls about this. But at the same time, you need to also be thinking about, is this serving a goal that's beneficial for anybody other than myself? And I think the answer for that is generally no. It's not making this person, you know, like, it's not holding them accountable, really. It's not stopping them from doing this. It's just basically making content for yourself and then punishing somebody that you don't like, which, again, good reason to not like them, but there's not really a lot to it. Respectfully disagree? Well, the problem, and here's the issue. It's like what he, and Chris Hansen literally just said it. They interfere with the ability to the police to actually do anything because they usually brutalize this person or have some sort of other issue that makes it to where this person is now the victim of a separate crime. They're obfuscating and muddying the waters. I mean, he's the one saying it. I'm not even saying
Yeah,
this.
and I think the thing is, too, a lot of the reason why I have to make this content is because we reach out to Roblox, we give them the emails, we give them all the information. They don't respond until after we publish a video that gets millions of views on YouTube. You know, it makes me concerned because if we're getting that, what are real victims getting?
Look, I understand a little bit Roblox situation here. What they're trying to do is follow the protocol. When they see something, they're mandated to report that to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which then refers it to law enforcement. And that's good, and they should be doing that. But why they wouldn't also take advantage of information given to them, wrapped with a bow around it, as you have
because
done.
if they do that, then it shows that they're aware of it. And I think that them being aware of it, they're worried about being seen as like the arbiters for this, and then they get sued for it later on, and they say, oh, well, you took action about these cases, why aren't you taking action with this case? That's probably what's going on. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know.
To me that they wouldn't see the opportunity here to be an ally of yours as opposed to somebody who, you know, they're making an example of and saying,
oh, for sure.
The rules, banning you. I don't understand that. From a corporate citizen aspect, it doesn't make sense. From a public relations standpoint, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And from a justice-seeking standpoint, it doesn't make sense. So I don't know.
Especially the last one.
That during the course of this, that I'll get a chance to sit down with somebody at Roblox, and I have a feeling that's going to happen. But I'm going to be posting.
The moment that one of them does an interview, this entire thing will collapse. And I don't think that they will do an interview because I think they know that. Because anybody with any good intentions, like Chris Hansen or Schlepp or Gideon or any other one, like, you've got to remember that a lot of guys become police officers. This is like their version of, you know, this is their best case scenario. A lot of guys imagine becoming police officers and catching these specific kinds of people. And so really, you've got to keep in mind, like, this is the kind of stuff that they're going to be locked in on, and they're going to be the most focused on in general. This is their moment. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is their 1% mount. Yeah. Do you really think that they want to, like, micromanage crackheads downtown? No, that sucks. That's awful. Or, like, try to, like, stop some kid that's selling drugs in a high school. Like, who cares? Like, oh, he's selling weed. Oh, wow, this is so horrible. No, they want to catch the predators. That's the main thing.
All of those questions when that interview takes place.
To young people who look up to you and see predators in online spaces, what is the single most important step that they can take to protect themselves?
I would be hesitant to tell people to conduct their own investigations, but I'm adamant that you got to report this stuff to your local law enforcement agency. You got to report it to the service provider. You got to report it to the platform. Hopefully, between those three things, you get some action. I think 15, 20 years ago, law enforcement would be a little overwhelmed by this and say, you know, if you're in a small town, you go to the police department.
Well, they weren't equipped for it back then because they didn't have the same type of infrastructure. Like, now, law enforcement is much more integrated with technology. I mean, very clearly, like, this happened. Like, I mean, versus, like, when To Catch a Predator came out, it was a totally different universe than it is now.
And they say, okay, well, you know, I'm not sure how to investigate it. Well, today, every department has the ability to investigate this stuff, and they are very willing to take these cases on.
It's an absolute honor to have Chris Hansen featured on this channel.
Yep.
Chris Hansen is flying me out soon to actually feature in his Roblox documentary about exploitation. With everything that we've learned so far, one question persists. Why did I get this cease and desist? I'll let this alleged former Roblox employee answer this question for you.
Uh-oh.
You have to make a decision, right? You keep your players safe, but then it would be less of them on the platform.
Exactly.
Or you just let them do what they want to do. And then all the numbers look good, and investors will be happy.
Yep. You don't even need a former employee to say that. It's just their own self-interest. It's obvious that's the reason why. Duh, of course.
You might just be thinking this is one alleged Roblox employee. Well, Bloomberg is claiming that 8 Roblox employees told a very similar story to this in 2024. Roblox
then why can't they just get the information where they find, like, why can't they find somebody at the company that said that this is okay and that said to prioritize, like, you know, making money over child safety? Why can't you get them and charge them personally for, like, criminal negligence, child endangerment, something? Like, you've got to do something about this. That way it doesn't just keep happening. That's the problem. I get so frustrated about this.
Forces
so
victims
annoying
of the platform into arbitration, a tactic so unethical that platforms like Uber and Lyft actually have policies against doing this. The reason they're doing it is even more outrageous. Because this person received so many benefits from using the platform, he cannot now complain that Roblox is trying to prevent him from seeking justice in court for the life-altering harm he suffered. Here's why I personally care so much about this problem.
Who's been offered free Robux to do something that was inappropriate in the game? Or someone has said, I'll give you some free Robux if you come and follow me on Snapchat or TikTok or something like that. Who's had that happen? Okay, loads of...
Okay. That's crazy. And you know who could have expected this? Literally anyone with a fucking brain. Anybody could have told you this was going to happen. Absolutely. This is the most crazy video I've seen. Yeah, this is a really good video. I'll link it to you guys at the end of it.
I've seen a lot of corruption in big tech, but I've never seen a company harm this many young people at the scale Roblox has. They can say whatever they want about safety or try to discredit me, but the arrests and their response to those arrests speak louder than any PR statement that they could possibly make. This isn't just about moderation. The rot goes all the way up to the CEO, a man whose vision includes adding dating to this platform and defending predatory games like Meep City. It's not even
Imagine, like, thinking, like, you should have... I remember whenever they announced that, they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to have dating in Roblox. I was like, wait a minute. Isn't Roblox for kids? What the fuck? Why would you even do that?
It's his literal
Such
philosophy.
a bad idea, yeah.
The narrative around Roblox needs to change. People have to understand what this platform actually is. Share what's happening. Talk about it. Make sure your friends, parents, journalists...
The only way for this to stop is for there to be direct legal accountability. That is the only way, is if there is legislation and legal accountability for the company. Even if people make the biggest amount of noise possible on the internet, it will negatively affect Roblox, but Roblox will ultimately recover from it because the internet will just move on to something different. And people will continue using Roblox. Kids will keep using Roblox. Like, I'm just being realistic here, right? Like, an internet outrage is important, but it's not the thing that you need. The leadership are pedos. That's why it keeps happening. I don't think you should say the leadership are pedos. Like, again, that's a crazy statement to make. It's totally unfounded. You should... Why muddy the waters with baseless accusations when the truth is more than enough? Why do you need to make stuff up? It's weird.
and lawmakers know how deep these problems run. Call your congressman and tell him he won't stand by while Roblox puts children in danger. I've been sounding the alarm for over a year as a whistleblower, and Roblox's leadership has tried to silence me. What needs to happen
What a surprise.
is David Baszucki needs to sit in front of Congress under oath.
True.
And he needs to explain why so many people have been abducted.
No, I don't, like, that's a good start. They need to subpoena employee communications and figure out if this was a systemic top-down decision, and if so, where did it start from, and then hold the people that were the decision makers of that accountable personally. That's what you need to do. Embarrassing him in front of Congress is great, but that doesn't really do anything. He's still going to go back home and continue making billions of dollars doing this. You're correct, but they should be investigated. Well, I don't think that. I mean, I think it's very, like, law enforcement is a limited resource, and I don't think that we should be applying law enforcement in a way that is just punitive. I'm talking about this because there are certain people that are doing this that are creating an action. I don't think that they need to investigate every executive at Roblox for having, like, weird stuff on their computer. This is like a crazy logic leap. Like, let's focus on what's actually happening rather than inventing new problems.
Abused on his platform.
That's just me.
His company
That's me.
is choosing profits over safety.
Man, this video was fucking good. I did not expect it to be this good. God damn. Roblox Take a Seat featuring Chris Hansen. Not a good title that you want to have. Oh my god. I'm going to link you guys the video, and go ahead and make sure to, what do you call it? Make sure to like it, and, Schlep, I think, absolutely deserves a sub. I mean, this whole movement and everything is something that I think has attracted a lot of sympathy for him. I think people have been very positive about him talking and doing this, and I think it's a great thing. I'm very happy about it, and overall, hopefully this will continue. Hopefully it will get more attention, and there will ultimately be a legal outcome for this that is a consequence for this behavior, which is, I think, the main issue that we're running into right now. This couldn't be avoided, to be honest. Roblox is a company that needs to make profit. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think Roblox is definitely maybe the worst actor in this regard, but I think in many cases this will also be true too. 641 dislikes or PDFs. Probably just people clicking the wrong button, to be honest. But yeah, I'll link it to you guys right now. What do you think the time frame for internet outrage is? About like 3 weeks. I think most issues, like if you really think about it, like even something really big like the Epstein files, think about how big they were for, like, it's about a month or so, and even a month is stretching it. So like at a certain point, people just get tired of different issues. And so, like, at a very, very high level, I think a big issue is, like, a 1 month type situation. I'm still talking about it? Yeah, definitely. Somewhere Roblox executive just called their boss and said Asmongold just saw this video. Well, I don't really think so. I feel like there's a lot of people that also, like, they're going to watch it. Like, I mean, it already has 2 million views. I mean, and it came out, like, today. So, like, me watching and reacting to it is, like, the least of their problems. Like, everybody is talking about this on the internet. Like, I'm just simply one drop in a very, very big tidal wave. And I think that's a good thing. I'm glad. And, I was one of the first people that talked about it, I think, at least. And so that is a good thing. But, yeah. Second Asmongold video has hit the YouTube. Well, honestly, I think I've made, like, maybe a few of them.